Welcome back, tech friends. My name's Gareth. This is Tech Check. Today we're looking at SaharaGaming's latest PC case, and if it's anything to go by the P480, this is going to be quite good. So that being said, all in white, got this beautiful look through fish tank look, and I know what you're going to say. Yeah, Gareth, it's a dual chamber case. We've seen them over and over again, but you've not seen one for $79.99, and that's exactly how much this little bad boy costs. So today we're going to have an overview of the case. We're going to go through some of the features, and at the very end I'm going to share with you, should you actually part with your hard-earned cash? Let's do it. So I always think you can tell a lot by a case from its first impression, and this one stands very tall and proud. It looks really, really clean. So from my perspective, I love this 5mm fully glass tempered side panel, and you get exactly the same on the front as well. It gives you a very nice aesthetic all the way through the build, and no matter what angle you're looking at, you're going to see all of that RGB if that's what you opt for. Now, the first thing you can see in the bottom of this particular case is you've got these three ARGB fans, 120mm fans, and you've also got one at the rear as well. Absolutely phenomenal to see an £80 case with 4 included ARGB fans. But we will come back onto them because the ones at the bottom are a little bit different as well. You can see up here, we do get a full length magnetic dust filter up here as well. Now just be careful with these guys because this is plastic covered in metal, and if you pick this up or bend it in the wrong way, you will get some nasty creases and kinks in this, and it will look quite unsightly. Onto the front I/O, we've got our power switch, we've got our reset switch, we have got a singular USB 2.0, we've got our headphone jack, we've got a microphone jack, and then we've got 2 USB 3.0s as well. And then we've also got a LED button here as well. One thing I'm quite surprised at is that we are lacking a USB Type-C. And given the fact they've put a USB 2.0 up there, I would have loved to have seen that gone and had a USB-C up there along with its two brothers, the USB 3. So yeah, it's quite surprising that we've not actually got a USB Type-C, because most of the latest cases that are out now actually come with that as standard. Given the fact it's $79.99, that may be a reason why. The latest cases don't normally adopt this 4-screw function on the front glass tempered panel. This one actually looks quite nice. They've actually used some really, really nice silver screws, and I don't actually mind them at all. What I would say is it's always a lot quicker, a lot nicer to have 2 screws on the side, or even a panel that just magnetically closes. That being said, don't mind it in this instance. Let's take off the glass panel and let's actually take a close look inside. One thing to note with this particular case, it is an M-ATX or a Mini ITX case. So anyone that's looking to chuck in an ATX motherboard, this is not going to be the case for you. It won't actually fit. With that in mind, we've got our 6 standoffs already pre-included. We have got an additional 2 standoffs that are included in this particular goodie bag here that we can install if required as well. We've got 2 cutouts at the top. I don't know how much of a problem this will be for our 8-pin EPS cables, but I'm looking forward to building in this case. So if you are interested in this and you're looking for a step-by-step build guide, then keep your eyes peeled, get yourself subscribed, because we are going to be building in this particular case, so keep your eyes wide open. With that being said, down this side, we have also got 3 more cutouts down this side as well, and 2 additional cutouts at the bottom for our HD audio, USB 2s and USB 3s, etc, etc. So would have been nice to see some grommets, because it's always quite nice. You have a full white case and then you've got some horrible black cables. It's nice to actually only see the exact bit that you need to, and everything else behind closed doors. So the back can easily be removed by these 2 thumb screws, one at the top and one at the actual bottom. Then we can pull the rear panel out, and then that reveals our rear panel. As you can see, it's a double vented panel. Now, what I would say is the P480 in terms of build quality was absolutely phenomenal. it was like a bulletproof vest, whereas this one quite clearly isn't. It is, well, it feels like it's double rolled, and it's got plenty of good enough ventilation, and there's nothing particularly wrong with it. I would just say that if I was comparing it to the P480, I wouldn't say it's of the same quality. Taking a closer look at the back, in terms of our front I/O, we've already mentioned we are going to get our power switch, our power LEDs, our reset switch, and our hard drive positive and negative. We've also got our HD audio, we've got our USB 2.0, and we've also got our USB 3.0. Now, with having our front I/O at the top, it is going to hinder our cables or our fans a little bit. So we are going to actually have to do a little bit of cable management here and get these particular cables down this particular tray here so that we're not seeing the black cables through the white fans. That's not something that we want to see. But with a little bit of zip tie here and a zip tie there, I'm sure we can achieve that. We also get included this bracket and bar that's pre-installed into the case at the back, and that is predominantly for our 2.5-inch SSDs and our 3.5-inch hard drives as well. So you can put 2 SSDs on the back here, and you can also fit round the front a 3.5-inch standard hard drive. If you did want to, there is an opportunity for you to remove the fans out of the bottom of the case. You can mount an additional 3.5-inch hard drive or a 2.5-inch SSD at the bottom. My personal opinion, I don't think I would ever do that because it would actually ruin the aesthetics of the case, in particularly these beautiful fans at the bottom. Onto power supply, and this is absolutely humongous amount of room, guys, and I don't think you're going to have any issues whatsoever with any power supplies unless you're getting up to the 13, 15, 1600 watt range, which I think would be a little bit OTT for this particular case, even though it does support a huge range of GPUs, which we'll get onto very, very shortly. Onto the rear of the case, guys, we've got our standard 120mm housing here for our exhaust fan. We've got our standard cutout for our I/O shield, and then we've got 5 PCIe Express slots as well. One thing I would say is, yes, they aren't replaceable or removable. They are the bend and snap ones, which, in my opinion, really could have done without. And then we move on to our PSU mounting option, which is at the bottom down here, which is in the rear of this dual chamber case. One thing that I do really like is the attention to detail. And they've started off with these silver thumb screws, and they've actually gone the whole way around the case, inside and out, including the standoffs, with that particular theme. And I think it's things like that that really, really help these budget builds stand out, because it feels like you're getting a bit more quality than what you're actually paying for. Let's move on to fan and radiator support, and this is really, really good in terms of compatibility, in all honesty, guys. You can put 3 120mm fans at the bottom. You can put 2 120s or 2 140mm fans at the side. We can fit 2 140mm fans at the top or 3 120mm fans. And then we've got our 120 as an exhaust at the rear. In terms of radiators, if you wanted to go full water build, you can put a 360mm radiator at the bottom, a 360mm radiator at the top. You can fit a 240 or a 280mm all-in-one or radiator at the side as well. So world your oyster, in all honesty. And in my particular opinion, I would rather do 3 intakes at the bottom. I would do 2 intakes at the side. I'd have 360mm all-in-one at the top as an exhaust, and then I would have this rear exhaust fan as well. So I'd 5 intake fans and 4 exhaust fans with a beautiful 360mm cooler sat at the top, removing this dust filter so we don't restrict any airflow. And I don't think you would have any problems whatsoever with what build you put in this particular case, even given the fact that it's got a front glass and side panel as well. Let's just say that you didn't want to go for an all-in-one and you wanted to opt for a tower cooler. Then you've got a max height of 160mm. So There's not many coolers that I can think of that are going to exceed that, so you should have no problems whatsoever. Therefore, the same with all the latest and greatest graphics cards as well, guys. This particular case will support up to 410mm for graphic card support as well. I've already tried my RTX 4090 Strix, and that even fits in there as well. And if that does, you should have no problems whatsoever. Moving on to the bottom of the case, guys, what I would say is this case has got some nice feet, guys. It's got these cornered, really nice, sturdy feet, all 4 of them in each corner, and it has got some foam on the bottom, so you're not going to scratch any surfaces up or anything like that. It's also got about a 1.5 centimetre gap between the intake fans and whichever table you're going to be putting it on, so you're going to get some decent airflow as well. It also supports a magnetic full-length filter as well, especially if you're having this as an intake fan to try and cut down on the dust and dirt that's getting in there. That's definitely something that you want to keep in place. That then very nicely moves us on to the last bit that I really like, guys, and I think that anyone that buys this case is getting quite a treat, and that is the fans and the connectivity of these particular fans. I will do a little bit more of an in-depth video on these particular fans, because I think for the price that you pay and for what you get, it's an absolute bargain. To put it into perspective, 3 of these fans would cost a very similar price to another very well-known brand of fan, and I think you're getting an absolute bargain. So more on them. If you're interested, get subscribed. Video these particular fans out very shortly. But let's just look at the actual connectivity, because there is going to be a few things, and there is a couple of reasons why these fans you can get 3 of for the same price of other people of 1. So included, we've already got through the fact that you get 3 at the bottom and 1 at the rear, so you get 4 included ARGB fans. They're 200 to 2000 RPMs, and they come with an inline controller and a little bit of a hub as well. You can control them in a number of different ways. You've already seen the LED dedicated button on the top of the case, and we also get this controller here. On each fan, they're connected by these 2 cables, and they're connected via a very similar connector that Leon Lee uses. But what we also get is we get a 4-pin PWM, and then we get a 4-pin pigtail. Likewise, we get a 5-volt addressable connection, and again a pigtail off of there as well. This fan is daisy chained to these 3 fans. We can then take our PWM and we can connect that onto our 4-pin PWM, which we get 2 of. We take our 5-volt addressable header and we can put that onto this side, and again you do get 2 of both. On the other side, we can actually bypass this particular hub here, and we can connect it to our motherboard, and we can control the RGB via our motherboard software. If you don't want to do any of that and you just want to power it, these fans are SATA power connected, and we can actually control them via PWM as well. So full control. That being said, let's hook up a little bit of SATA power and have a quick look at what they actually look like. If I flick the power switch on, hey presto, there we go. And the great thing about these particular fans are they've got an infinity mirror in the center of the fan, and on both sides of the fan, an RGB all over the place as well. So if I was to tilt this particular case this way, you'll see the RGB all the way around the top of the actual case, but you should be able to see, or you might be able to see, there is RGB down all of the sides as well, which is beautifully diffused. We've got 4 fans in here at this moment in time, and they're going full belt, and they're not bad in terms of sound whatsoever. One of the great things is, once we connect our PWM to our motherboard, we can go into our motherboard software, or we can go into the BIOS and we can control them curves and get them exactly how you want them. The RGB hub, if we press this button, it will give us a whole host and different range of colour variations. There's absolutely loads. I particularly like this one. That one looks quite nice, but I'm sure you can find one to your heart's content one that's in keeping with the rest of your build. But failing that, if you can't find one with a button, hook up the 5-volt addressable header to your motherboard, and then you can go through your motherboard software and do whatever you want through that as well. All in all, $79.99. 4 included ARGB fans, all this massive amounts of glass, filters throughout, magnetic, plenty of cable management, and yeah, there's a couple of things that I don't like. I don't like the fact that we've still got the 4 pins or the 4 screws on the front panel, but I'll get over that. I don't like the fact that we've not got a USB Type-C, but I can get over that because most latest and greatest motherboards have USB-C outs on the back of the motherboard I/O, so that's not bad. In terms of cable management at the back, ample room there, no problems whatsoever. No matter what you're going to throw at this, it's going to say, yeah, give me some more. And I really like that. And it's great to see SaharaGaming coming out with a case that's more budget friendly and more attainable by your normal average person that wants not only something to look really nice, but that's going to perform really nice as well. So hats off to you, Sahara. Thank you for sending this out for review. And as always, guys, these opinions are my own. If I didn't like it, I'd tell you I didn't like it. But hands down, another good product, and I'd happily shell out $79.99. And if you are interested, I am definitely going to be building a build in this particular case. Perhaps an M-ATX build, and I might even chuck in my 7950X and RTX 4090 just to see what we can do, and I might just do some temperature tests in here for anyone that's interested as well. So guys, I'm hoping you've enjoyed the video. If you have, smash that subscribe button. Don't forget to leave a thumbs up. Any comments, share your opinions down in the comments below, and have a great weekend. Take it easy.